Now at 4, relief at the pump. Details on a gas sales tax suspension just announced by the governor.
Calls and concerns about water quality here in Muncie are picking up, and it's now leading to some businesses switching to bottled water. However, the city says there's no danger. I'm Matthew Folsom. We're looking into what's really going on.
And as expected, much warmer today. Flirting with 70 degrees and the warmest is yet to come. And we've got an accident that's causing a big backup. We'll have an update here soon.
Hey everybody, a lot to get to on this Wednesday, and we begin with that relief at the pump headed this way. Thanks for joining us. I'm Dustin Grove.
And I'm Felicia Lawrence. Now today, Governor Mike Braun announced he is temporarily suspending the sales gas tax. 13 News reporter Emily Longnecker was there for this announcement. And Emily, can you fill us in? Have those prices come down yet?
Hi guys, yeah, not quite yet, but we could see the impact perhaps later this week, early next week, says the governor. Take a look. Those are the kind of gas prices that Hoosiers have been dealing with, and the governor says his actions are going to provide relief from those. He has declared, as you said, a 30-day tax holiday, suspending Indiana's sales tax on gasoline. The governor signed an executive order today suspending that tax. His actions come as some lawmakers called on the governor to take action to save Hoosiers money at the pump. The governor's executive order declared an emergency and suspends the state's 7% sales tax on gas. That sales tax fluctuates with the price of gas. When gas goes up, the sales tax does too. Governor Braun says suspending the sales tax for just 30 days could save Hoosiers $50 million, give or take. Braun also called on the Attorney General to enforce protections on any kind of price gouging at the pump. He also had a message for gas retailers.
Calling on gasoline retailers to ensure these savings are showing up at the pumps. The state will be watching the pumps to make sure savings are delivered to Hoosiers when they go to fill up each week or whenever they do.
I asked the governor how long before this sales tax suspension on the price of gasoline goes into effect, and he said the logistics are still being put in place, but we could see that suspension take effect later this week, perhaps early next week. He also said that after 30 days he'll reevaluate and look at possibly extending it another 30 days if need be, but he said there's no guarantees on that. Dustin? Felicia?
And Emily, it's important to underscore that this is the sales tax on gas, right? Our gas tax is actually made up of several different taxes.
Yeah, there's a few in there. This is the sales tax, also called the gas use tax, and that's set at 17 cents for the month of April, and that fluctuates with the price of gas. Again, if the price of gas goes up, the sales tax goes up. The state's 36-cent gasoline excise tax, that's going to remain in place for right now. Dustin, Felicia?
All right, Emily, thank you so much. That's Emily Longnecker reporting on the state's suspended gas tax.
And we are seeing these higher gas prices because of the ongoing conflict in Iran. And another big development this afternoon there. Hours after a ceasefire agreement and Iran reopening the Strait of Hormuz, it closed again just hours ago.
Iran closed the strait in response to Israeli attacks on Lebanon. Officials there say dozens were killed and hundreds wounded in both commercial and residential areas. Ivan Rodriguez has the latest on the conflict and fragile ceasefire agreement.
The ceasefire deal between Iran and the U.S., struck less than 2 hours before President Donald Trump's deadline, is now in place. But the temporary agreement is fragile. Wednesday morning, Secretary Pete Hegseth and the chairman of the U.S. Joint Chiefs of Staff cautiously welcomed the planned 2-week pause.
We hope that Iran chooses a lasting peace. But as Secretary Hegseth said, let us be clear, a ceasefire is a pause, and the joint force remains ready, if ordered or called upon, to resume combat operations.
The ceasefire may leave Tehran in effective control of the world's most important maritime choke point, the Strait of Hormuz. The continued control over the strait and Iran's potential charging of tolls for passage would mark a dramatic break from the international maritime order, giving Tehran effective veto power over what passes through, from food imports to oil and gas exports from its Arab neighbors.
We're in a worse position than we were before the war. The Strait of Hormuz was open. There's like 500 oil tankers waiting to get through. And Iran has essentially shut it down.
Pakistan has emerged as a key mediator between the U.S. and Iran in recent weeks, with the country's prime minister inviting delegations from both countries to Islamabad for talks Friday. Pakistan's ambassador to the U.S. says success of this process lies in secrecy.
The conflicting parties need to be afforded enough space void of any pressures, outside exogenous pressures.
I'm Ivan Rodriguez reporting.
They clearly didn't even check to see if he was alive. I just feel like if you can hit a human and not have the heart to stop, you shouldn't have keys. You shouldn't have a vehicle.
Police in Lawrence are searching for the driver who hit and seriously injured a 20-year-old man here at Post Road and Pendleton Pike on Saturday night. Now, Leo Vasquez was crossing Pendleton in the middle of a green light when he didn't have the right of way, but a driver hit him going east on Pendleton, but fled the scene. His girlfriend tells me that Leo suffered some pretty serious head and lower body trauma, issues with his bladder, not to mention the mental toll that this accident took. Now police are hoping that anyone with information or the driver comes forward.
Regardless of what happened or what caused that, we can work through that. But if you leave the scene and we have to trace you or track you down, that's where it becomes an issue.
Thanks to Ashton there. We're also following this traffic incident over on the east side.
Quite a mess, Sean.
It is. So folks that use 465 northbound to get to the northeast side, you better find an alternate route here. So let me show you the problem. This has been going on for over an hour now. There was a truck from earlier that leaked a bunch of fuel, and unfortunately, IFD on the scene here you got to mitigate all this stuff. So again, what we're looking at, this is all northbound traffic. That's southbound traffic on the right-hand side. Let me show you the traffic map here. And I'm going to do something a little different. So I'm going to dive in. We're going to flip this map around. So here's our camera again. There's the accident point. And notice that red, that's the backup. We're talking about 5 to 8 miles per hour. This goes all the way down to I-70. So from 70 and actually beyond, 465 north is going to be very slow, because what's going on as they get to that accident point, those two right lanes have been closed, at least until they can get this cleaned up, and we don't know how much longer that's going to take. So it is going to be a long go if that is your route. This is 465 just north of I-70, so you can see how long this backup is. Otherwise, from a weather perspective, some of the best weather in the country here at home in central Indiana today. Beautiful sunshine, and as we told you, temperatures much warmer, as we are not far from 70 degrees. We've got the sun, we've got a warm wind, and we have an absolutely spectacular afternoon and evening in progress, and this is not even the warmest. We'll have that in the 7-day, and when you can expect the next chance of rain all coming up in just a little bit.
All right, Sean, and we all know central Indiana is a great place to live, but one local city was just named the second best place to live in the country.
All right, we'll let you know where that is, and it is the largest contract in Pirates franchise history. Details on the team's deal with former Indianapolis Indian Connor Griffin up next.